Hey, so lately we've been looking for some games that just do something different, have a unique spin, feel creative. We're looking for some cool, charming, or mind-blowing game mechanics and ideas in games. So today we rounded up 10 upcoming game releases that are just really unique one way or another. We've got some indie, some AA, some AAA, really a game for every type of weirdo in a good way. So let's get started off at number 10. This is Recur. Check this out. You play as a mailman, and it's the end of the world. Sounds simple enough, right? But this is kind of like a 2D action platformer with bigger high-fidelity 3D graphics. We've seen plenty of games like this before, right? Limbo, Inside, Little Nightmares, but with Recur, there's a really interesting time shift mechanic. You might argue it's kind of been done in Braid, but here this whole game is built around this really cool thing of if you move in one direction, time moves forward. If you move backwards, time moves in reverse. That sounds simple enough, especially in a game where a character is really only going left and right, but it looks like it gets very complicated very quickly. A lot of the times you're tasked with solving puzzles, how to progress while essentially stepping back in time to manipulate things and then move forward properly. The developers showed off a couple of examples, and I think it just looks really cool and actually pretty challenging in terms of like a puzzling brain buster type of thing. But also it's just got a quaint, good visual style. It reminds me of like a charming animated movie, but with like the end of the world vibes going on in the background. It seems like it really could work. Recur, as of right now, doesn't have a release date, but we're definitely keeping an eye on this one. And next over at number 9, we have Light No Fire. This is the newest game from Hello Games, the people behind, of course, No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was an incredibly ambitious game that had some big promises. It made some big swings, and then when the game released, it was undercooked. It did not meet those expectations. People were pissed. Thankfully, it seems like enough people bought the game where the developers went back to the drawing board, really put their money where their mouth was, and made the game incredible. As of this video, No Man's Sky is still getting updated to this day, and this exploration space game really has a ton of depth and just it's something you can get lost in. But their next project seems like it might be even more ambitious. This is Light No Fire, and essentially here, they're going for like a kind of massively multiplayer exploratory experience where you're on a planet that's like the size of a real world planet. They're going for like an Earth-sized planet in a video game, and if that doesn't sound like crazy ambition that could potentially crash and burn, I don't know what does. Light No Fire was revealed at the Game Awards in 2023, and we haven't had a ton of news about it, but we're hoping we see it soon. A lot of people are speculating maybe 2026, but either way, I just really hope they give this game all the time it needs. Don't rush it. Don't have another No Man's Sky situation on our hands. Hopefully they've learned their lesson, because this could be pretty awesome. Next up, check this out. This was revealed not too long ago. This is Hirogami. This is a platformer action-adventure game from various different perspectives, kind of top-down, 3D, somewhat 2D sometimes, but it's all based around the Japanese art of origami, meaning you're going to be transforming shapes because your character can fold and flip and tear into all different types of creatures. We've seen flying, we've seen smashing stuff as a gorilla, warping into a paper plane. I just think this is really cool. You're able to practice folding or transform into all these different shapes and animals to accomplish your objectives. It seems like you're engaging in some light combat, but also exploration, solving puzzles. And if they find the right balance, this could just be a chill, good time. I think the idea of being origami and flipping around into different paper shapes is really cool. We don't have to wait too long to see what the deal is with this one. Hopefully it's good. It releases September 3rd, 2025. Next at number 7, check out this game, Exodus. This looks like a big, bombastic, AAA, third-person sci-fi action game, right? But when you look at some gameplay, it looks like a throwback. It just looks like a good old sci-fi romp, sci-fi adventure. But there's a lot of interesting stuff around it, considering the lore. There's a lot going on with this one. There is already a book out that is set in this universe, and it's just going for big space opera. Here, looking at the trailer, it very much seems like you're part of a crew dealing with space exploration, possibly in it for the money more than anything, but you are travelers because this game deals with time. But What's interesting about it, what really caught our eye, is that the game deals in heavy themes of not time travel, but time dilation, which is a little bit more interesting if you've seen some sci-fi movies that, tackle this type of thing. How that's going to work into gameplay, if it's going to work into gameplay, I don't know for sure, but from like story to gameplay ramifications, if they run with time dilation, it could be really cool. Not to mention the fact that the game just looks interesting. I'm always good for a single player action adventure RPG type thing, and this seems like it's going for it. It's also got a lot of veteran game developers behind it. Some people behind old BioWare RPGs, Baldur's Gate, stuff like that. As of right now, no release date for Exodus. They have a website, they have a community already, but we're waiting to hear more. Next, over at number 6, check out Dark Mass. This looks cool, right? A spooky first-person horror game, but what's interesting is that all of it takes place underwater. It seems like for most of the game, you are completely submerged in water, exploring this sunken manor. What that means essentially is a game where it's like, imagine in first person you're exploring the Titanic, but what if the Titanic was a house? This manor has apparently been trapped underwater, submerged for years and years, and it's untouched, and it's also spooky. Apparently there's this sort of unknown presence that is hunting you down, and that's where a lot of the horror elements come in. Spending the entire game underwater, especially if they make it like so mechanically it's not annoying, like you don't feel like you're just playing a swimming mini game, like if the whole game is underwater, I think that can actually add to the fear factor. It's an Unreal Engine 5, and from what we can see so far, it does look pretty convincing. It looks very real, but not like distractingly so with your underwater, like it's still very easy to see stuff, but apparently it's a lot of exploration and choices, and apparently some of your choices are going to affect the outcome of the game. We've heard that a million times, games really, we have to see it to believe it, but I think Dark Mass is just cooking on something cool. Horror games in first person have needed an interesting spin for a while, and I think this might be it. Hope it's good, but as of right now, no release date or anything. Next, over number 5, Judas. This is the long-awaited game from Ken Levine, the creator of BioShock. This one has been in the works for a very, very long time, and to be frank, we still don't know too much about it. We also don't know when the hell it's ever coming out. But from the glimpses we have seen, it seems like you play as someone named Judas who is trapped on this big giant space station that people lived on. And essentially, you're going through these somewhat procedurally generated environments facing off against robotic enemies while also dealing with rogue AI personalities. These different personalities that run different parts of the ship appear to you in hologram form to communicate, and what's been really cool is that we have seen gameplay where these characters just kind of teleport in and out as you're walking around in real time. So from what I've seen of this game, it's very impressive to be walking around and having a hologram NPC chatting to you, but if you just keep walking, they're going to keep teleporting and appearing in random places in your field of view, leaning up against a wall, sitting on top of a box. It's been really cool to see go down. That's only one example of what it seems like Ken Levine and his studio is cooking on here in terms of unique stuff, things we haven't seen before, but just how the narrative will play out, how it's all going to fit together with like randomly generated and roguelite elements. What's the deal with this big robot dog? There are still a lot of questions about Judas, but hopefully we get some more answers soon. Either way, it seems like they're trying some really unique stuff here. Next at number 4, Directive 8020 is the newest game from Supermassive Games, the people behind all types of cinematic story-based games where your decisions play out in real time, right? Think of games like Until Dawn, The Quarry, the Dark Pictures anthology. Now with Directive 8020, it looks like they're going for full-on sci-fi horror, something like Deep Impact, and you know what? I am all about that. What's a pretty cool, unique feature of this game, something that could potentially be mind-blowing mechanically, is the fact that they have these things called turning points. Now, some games have done this in similar respects, but I'm curious to see how hard they go on this. Essentially, you're going to make big important decisions during this game at multiple points, and the game will do a good job of essentially showing you a full timeline of your decisions and actually allow you to immediately go back and revert one of those choices that you made. How flexible this is going to be, how easy it is to use, and how much fun it is to change stuff on the fly, I think that remains to be seen, but that could be a really special experience for these types of games. We've played a lot of them at this point. We know how a supermassive game usually goes down, how it feels. So if they're trying to reinvent the formula a little bit, I am all for that. As of right now, we just know it's coming sometime in 2026. Next at number 3, check out Ebitapes. If I'm saying it right, Ebitapes, this is a really cool PC game that at the surface, yes, it looks like we're recommending it because of its art style, right? It looks hand-drawn, handcrafted. It looks like something out of a kid's notebook in high school or something like that. But this game, it's more than just the art style. It's how the gameplay is centered around music. It's dubbed as a musical journey where you adventure around, you talk to NPCs, but you also collect samples to essentially build and create your own remixes and songs and mixtapes. Then it's up to you to hold little concerts and play your mixtapes for the NPCs and the townspeople in order to progress. Apparently, according to the developers, you don't have to have like musical knowledge. It very much looks like an intuitive system of dragging and dropping different beats and loops and samples, and that just could be a blast. On paper, it's a really, really good idea. Whether or not the rest of the gameplay, the adventuring, and the character writing really seals the deal, we'll have to see when we actually play it. As of right now, it's slated for 2025, and we can't wait to see what comes of it. Next at number 2, check this out. This is Out of Words. This is a narrative-driven co-op game. You and another friend go on an adventure together across these beautiful 2D landscapes. Think of something like a Split Fiction or It Takes Two from Haze-like games, but here on a 2-dimensional plane. Not only that, it's actually completely handcrafted. This is a stop-motion game. So the characters, the background elements, the art, all that stuff is completely created by real people's hands. And it shows. This game looks incredibly unique. We've had other games play with this style before, but it just seems like they're really going for it here and also trying to tell a heartfelt tale of two friends who get thrust into this mystical world and they lose the ability to speak, so they need to cooperate the old-fashioned way. And in video game terms, it's running and jumping and solving puzzles. I did actually get to play a preview of this game and I found it awesome, you know, and very, very charming and emotional and sweet and beautiful looking, but also pretty challenging from a gameplay perspective. Pretty consistently, it seems like the pacing changes in terms of what you and your friend are doing in this game. And if they can really nail this one and knock it out of the park, I think Out of Words is definitely going to be one to keep an eye on. As of right now, it's slated for sometime in 2026. Now at number 1, Hell Is Us. Check this out. This is from developer Rogue Factor, and what on the surface might look like just another Souls-like game. Like, oh, okay, Souls-like, but sci-fi? Sure. Okay, it's actually a lot more than that. It's challenging melee combat and exploration, but in a kind of post-apocalyptic, strange world. You have some gadgets, you have a drone ability, cool stuff, but the game is a really different exploration system. They're trying to really leave it up to you. To quote them, the game has no map, no compass, or quest markers. You're just following your instincts. How you discover things and how you progress is really just up to you, and I think that could be really, really cool if it feels right. Plus, the game also deals with a lot of NPCs. You're going to be talking to people, getting quests, getting leads on where to go, and that's just something you don't usually see in these types of games. So I think it could be a good hybrid combo of concepts. Not to mention the fact that like the art style and some of the enemy designs are absolutely awesome. This is another game that's being made by like a good team of people. The people at the top of the project are veterans, and I really hope it turns out awesome. Early previews from press and stuff have been positive. The game had a demo as well, and it's finally releasing September 4th. Those are 10 games with some unique spins, but we have some bonus ones for you, including Kingmakers, which we've mentioned many times in videos. You know, we've kind of beaten this horse to death, but essentially this is the game where you're thrown into medieval battles, but you're a guy with a gun. Game's got a lot more going on, but like that, just that premise alone is the cool, unique, mind-blowing feature. Also, check out Motor Slice. This is releasing sometime in 2025. It's a small independent project, but essentially it's a sci-fi adventure in a kind of minimalist landscape, and it's heavily inspired by both Prince of Persia: Sands of Time and Mirror's Edge. You parkour around, you jump, you climb, you adventure, and you fight machines. I don't know, this one just seemed really cool. I'm keeping my eye on it. But those are 10 games with some unique or mind-blowing features to them. Just something different going on. We just wanted to talk about some cool games today. So let us know in the comments what you think, but also let us know if you got any other games on your radar. We love talking about this stuff, so if you like it, clicking a like button helps us. We really appreciate that. And if you're new, consider subscribing, maybe hitting that notification bell, because we put out new videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.